forged from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer. With boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare, side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Heavenly Father, we come before you at the start of this new day, giving thanks for life, for health, and the opportunity to serve through this station. We ask for your divine presence to guide us in all we do. Bless this broadcast, that it may be a source of inspiration, joy, and unity to all who tune in. Whether near or far, may our words uplift, our music heal, and our message bring light to those who need it most. We pray for our listeners wherever they may be. Grant them strength for the day ahead, peace in their hearts, and success in all they put their hands to. Cover those traveling with your protection and those at home with your comfort and provision. Lord, may everything we do bring honor to you and be a blessing to others. Guide our steps, bless our efforts, and let this station be a vessel of positivity and hope. In your name we pray. Amen.
Your voice, your soundtrack, your station. New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio.
Whether you're up or not, or you need a lift,
The race is not for the swift.
and if you're working hard or you half a kill,
The race is not for the swift.
I tell you times are rough when you feel the switch.
The race is not for the swift.
If an elevator make a shift,
The race is not for the swift.
hey, you could do it too. You could do it
show, bringing you the energy, music, and vibes to start your day right.
Times are rough when you feel the switch.
The race is not for the swift.
If I'm elevator, make a shift.
The race is not for the swift.
Well, I tell you, that is some good advice for you to start your Wednesday morning. Yeah, it is a Wednesday. Yo,
I forgive.
The race is not for the swift.
I tell you, times are rough when you
the
feel
team,
the switch.
The race is not for the
regardless of what you might be going through, regardless of what it feels like, the race is not for the swift, right? Keep moving, keep moving.
The race is not for the
I will not be a very special good morning to you wherever you may be. Trinidad and Tobago, good morning. Moving, keep moving.
Times are rough when you feel the switch.
Neighbors in the Caribbean, good morning. Our friends who are streaming all around the globe, www.people. Yeah. Good day to you, and of course, thank you so much for choosing us and being with us. This is New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio,
I tell you, times are rough when you
the
feel
heartbeat of the Caribbean. Yes, we are taking you above and beyond each and every day.
up and up.
As always, I want to say much thanks to the Heavenly Father for bringing us together for another day. Everything that we do, dear God, let it be a blessing unto you.
Times are rough when you feel the switch.
Sir Charles, that is me. Happy am I to be in this space.
Make a shift.
Even a little more happier because guess what?
Up and up.
This is your Get Up and Go. I do welcome everybody to The Breakfast Show.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The breakfast show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay to the Savannah line. Let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Oh, oh, good vibes rolling through the air. The breakfast show energy everywhere. We talk, we laugh, we make you think. Grab your doubles or your morning drink.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
Woohoo! It's Hump Day.
It's sneezing day too.
It's Hump Day.
Of course, it is Wednesday, January 21st, 2026. And as I said a few days ago, this month is speeding along. You know. But good morning, Sir Charles. Good morning, Richard Raghubarsing. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And good morning, listeners and viewers all over the globe, especially those in Greenland, if you're listening to us. Greenland, Norway, Finland, Denmark, all these places that really run under the radar, except maybe for when it's football. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you rarely hear about these countries unless it's World Cup football, but they've been quietly going about their business and is a huge tourist destination for people who like to travel, of course, because these places have so much history behind it, you know, and so many wonderful things to see and do when you go to them. And now they are suddenly embroiled in this rant of a madman, for want of a better word, because I read a statement from, is it the president of Norway, or Sweden, one of those Nordic countries, about Donald Trump. I mean, and I read it in astonishment. I said, "What the hell am I reading here?" I think I had copied
What
it.
he was saying?
Huh?
What he was saying?
He basically said, as Norway's prime minister, he officially addresses Trump's insane admission that he's threatening Greenland because he didn't receive the Nobel Peace Prize. And he has clearly explained to Trump that he has no control over the prize. You know? He said, so Donald Trump had texted him, apparently, and said, this is the message from Trump. Dear Jonas, I hope this is not a spoof, eh? Considering your
Sounding like it, but go on. But go
what's
on.
that?
Yeah,
I think it sounded spoofy, but go on.
But yeah, go ahead. Your part is clear.
It sounded like Donald.
Sometimes what sounds spoofy is really real. So go
I
on.
was saying, but it sounds like Donald Trump, something like Donald Trump would say. He said, "Dear Jonas, considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace, although it will always be predominant, but can now think about what is good and proper for the United States of America. Denmark cannot protect that land from Russia or China, and why do they have a right of ownership anyway? There are no written documents. It's only that a boat landed there hundreds of years ago, but we had boats landing there also. I have done more for NATO than any other person since its founding, and now NATO should do something for the United States. The world is not secure unless we have complete and total control of Greenland. Thank you, President DJT."
I think obviously the lines are being drawn in the sand. So it's a interesting time, I guess, in world history. I suppose they will look back at this time. I suppose they look back at all different times for different things. But certainly under Donald Trump's presidency, America has become more forceful and almost akin to how Russia and China will sometimes act, in terms of like how China would act with regard to Taiwan, even though they would say it's completely different issue. I'm sure the Chinese will say it's a completely different issue. How Russia feels that it can just take land from Ukraine because it can, and how it provokes people on the border with Russia. There are several European countries that border with Russia, and provokes by certain little incursions via planes, etc. And Prime Minister Carney of Canada gave his speech at Davos yesterday. Was it yesterday? I think yesterday. The World Economic Forum is going on in Davos, and it started on the 19th of January, and it's going to the 24th. Prime Minister Carney from Canada did a speech. And I mean, clear that the world order.
Well, let me, yeah. Your microphone, I think, is giving a little trouble.
Yeah, and basically, Prime Minister Khan. That's what Prime Minister Khan said, and he got a standing ovation at the World Economic Forum after his speech, and he basically alluded it to being that the world order has changed and it's not going back.
Yeah.
And trying to be nostalgic about it is counterproductive. So you have to change with the time.
Yeah.
And he made the comparison, and I hope I'm not misquoting him for anybody else who saw that speech. He said, like, under communism, a greengrocer would have to put up a sign that says "Workers Unite." He said not that they believed in it, but it's what the state required.
Right.
For compliance. So everybody in this shop would have that sign that says "Workers Unite, Workers Unite," and was from an essay by I think a Russian philosopher or political essayist, and he said putting that sign up indicated compliance. You went along with it, even though you may have had objections and your heart wasn't really in it. And he said for a lot of the world, sometimes the powers, because there are certain world powers that has hegemonic tendencies. You go along with it. You put up the sign, "Workers Unite," in that comparison. And he said, and it's time for middle powers to remove their sign.
Right.
And decide that no, we now have to decide what is the rule-based international order that we think can now work. Because he said the rule-based world order is under threat because a lot of the powerful countries, and it's really three he's identifying in terms of China, Russia, and
the United States.
And the United States, not so much India. They're obviously not following the rule-based system, and more so Russia and the United States in terms of some of their actions, is what he was saying. But his speech was very interesting and was pretty riveting. And if you haven't seen it, it's probably a speech you could watch.
Yeah.
And he got a standing ovation after.
Well, let me read a little more of this article. Just bear with me. He said, this is the article, Norway's president. We are truly through the looking glass now, which is basically what you just said. Trump is so insane, so deeply tangled up in his own pettiness and narcissism that he's threatening to use the US military against a NATO ally because of an independent institute in another NATO country refused to give him a shiny medal. Our national security is being ripped apart to an atomic level due to the whims of a demented pedophile and historically low approval ratings. It's worth remembering that Trump's fixation on the Nobel Peace Prize isn't an arbitrary obsession. He's furious and embarrassed that Barack Obama, a black man, and thereby an inferior life form in Trump's vile racist worldview, won the prize while he has not. It enrages him so much that he's willing to tear down the entire post-World War II global order to make himself feel better. Pax Americana is ending because we elected a white supremacist real estate conman without a shred of impulse control. Liberals were told by Republicans as well as commentators in the mainstream media that we were being paranoid when we said that Trump wanted to be a dictator. Now it's clear that all of our criticisms, as harsh as they were, didn't go far enough. Trump is no longer simply the worst, most corrupt president in American history. He's an active threat to world peace. Isn't that something?
That's a huge statement.
And as I say, countries that you don't hear about really, except for traveling or for World Cup football, now all of a sudden thrust into this limelight because of what's happening in their region with Greenland. And as somebody said yesterday, I think somebody called yesterday, that I think you, Richard, read yesterday that some elite force that deals with snow. I think you mentioned the word snow.
No, that wasn't me. That wasn't me. I think maybe it was
that, right?
I think maybe it was a caller.
Right. That has been triggered for the first time in God alone knows how long. That particular unit.
Yeah, I don't know that story, but I heard it. But I think it was a caller who said it yesterday.
It was a caller who said it.
I think so, but I don't know that story particularly.
Yeah. I think it was a caller that actually said it. Yeah, you're right.
Anyway, we have so much news going on all over the world, including in Trinidad and Tobago.
We're in chaos.
There's the story with Don Lemon too. You know, that's something else too. You know, I don't know how that's going to end, but he's been stripped of his press passes and so on. That is another burgeoning story. United States? I don't know. Let's see. Anyway, let's get to good news now. And then we could get into the chat. And of course, we could get into our program today. Today, our guest is Larry Lalla, Senior Counsel. We'll talk about ZOSO and other things that have legal ramifications for us in Trinidad and Tobago. All right?
All right. Good news.
I've been giving away the secret, man. Listen, I've learned the Caribbean people, especially Trinidad and Tobago. I have learned these people in so many ways. And I believe that I'm qualified to give advice to anybody who is coming to Trinidad. So you can be able to fit in easily. The people are amazing. The people are lovely. But you have to understand the culture. understand the dialect, to be able to fit in swiftly and just enjoy the people, right? And there are many things to talk about. But let me tell you something. If you walk into a store and you're walking around, looking around, just going through the store, looking for something, somebody will talk to you. Or maybe a worker in that place will come and they will tell you something. This is what they're going to say. You getting true? Don't worry. Don't worry. I know it sounds a lot different from what you've been hearing from where you came from. Especially me, I'm from Nigeria. The first time I heard it in Trinidad, I'm like, what did she say? You getting true? That simply means, are you getting true? Simply, in other words, do you want help? Do you want help? Are you saying what you want? Do you want help? You getting true? So next time you hear this, or if you hear this in Trinidad, don't panic. It simply means, do you want help?
You getting true?
Yeah, we have a way of speaking, eh?
I wasn't sure that is what he was saying, until about the third time he said it.
You're getting true.
You getting true?
And it is so true. And they say, they're ready to say that. You're getting true. And your answer is, no, I need some help. Or you say, no, just browsing. Or just looking around.
Oh, Lord. Trini lingo.
A shame for Port of Spain. In all the years I spent in local government, I've never been to the San Fernando Corporation in terms of their auditorium, not their auditorium, sorry. Their room with the meeting and all the pictures with the mayors and all. That's a beautiful space. Congratulations to whichever mayor or council organized that space. And I also went to Chaguanas and I'm impressed. What is happening in Port of Spain?
What about Arima?
Well, I haven't been to Arima in a while, but Arima was a really little rinky-dink thing. You understand? But I don't know.
Up to now, they can't open the town hall.
Up to now.
Well, that's why I said I see the Arima Borough Council in hibernation.
Well, I'm going to Arima tomorrow. I'll find out.
Well, they're probably going to wake them up.
They'll get busy today, seeing that you tell them.
Tell them winter is done.
And when let's greet people in the chat.
All right. Eunice Dublin going back at the top of the chat. Well done, Miss Dublin. Good morning, Suzanne, Suzette, and Mrs. Gemma. Apollonius, Marlon Motley, happy hump day. Maria Cellier, Slick Money Grip, Odell Guy, Wendy Ann and Frank James, Boy Bidesi from Debe, Margaret Thomas. Good morning, guys. My answer to the poll question is no. Oh, Margaret, I like you. You already know what the poll is today. You already know what the poll is today. I remember, mark that down one time only. No, for Margaret Thomas. Michael Cadet says, morning, everyone. Erica Charles, thank God for sparing our lives to see another beautiful day as we give him all the honor, glory, and praise in Jesus Christ's name. Blessings and love to all. Manuela Peters, good morning. Happy birthday to my daughter, Eleanor Peters Clark. So happy birthday, Eleanor, from your mom, Manuela Peters, and of course from us at the Breakfast Show. Trini in Nashville, that's Kurt Hope from Nashville, Tennessee. Debbie Modest, Katia and Charles, and of course Arlene in Bronxville. Ingrid from Tucson, Arizona. Carol Guevara, happy hump day. Robert Taylor, Fernandina Beach. Evans David, good morning. Felix Kazoo, Brennan Smith. Gavin Frank. Diane, blessed morning, guys, and all in the live chat. Miguel Gonzalez. Ron DeSantis Jr., Jillian Dick, CJ from New York, sending happy hump day. Miguel Gonzalez, put Denmark. Okay, I read the story. I think it's Norway. Merle McCormy, good morning, guys. Jillian Dick sending birthday greetings today to her sister Marilyn Green Winter out there in Canada. So happy birthday, Marilyn. David Ware says, good morning, gentlemen. DT has almost morphed into what the Allies fought against during the Second World War. Oh, how the shoe landed on the other foot. And Ingrid from Tucson says, correct, Donald Trump said those exact words. I saw it on the news here in America. Thanks, Ingrid. Kishan, good morning. Mrs. R, good morning. Trini Merle Kitchen, good morning. Richard M. Jeremiah also says good morning. And David McCarthy. The chickens are coming home to roost, aren't they? Helen,
I met David McCarthy, actually.
You did?
I did. I met him in Eastgate. So good morning, David.
All right. Helen Prescott says good morning. Lester Cragwell also says good morning, guys. NATO fighting NATO. Strange times. Charmaine Bernard, good morning, everyone. Valerie Mendoza. Ron DeSantis Jr. already said good morning, but he's chatting away, defending the Republican and Donald Trump as usual. Miguel Gonzalez added to that, it is reported that Russia is supporting the U.S. in its quest to acquire Greenland. Ozzy Molino, good morning. Julia Samantha Scorpion Pepper also says good morning. Sunshine, it's hump day. Dave Gosine, good morning. Alistair Hart, good morning, guys. Went to the Carnival Village last night. It was great as usual. I saw some stellar, some top acts.
Super Blue Night.
Yeah, Super Blue Night, yeah. Thursday, Patrice Roberts would be performing, all right. Carlisle Cupid, Brent Hackshaw, James Kamau, and Ingrid is saying how that Trump is a world bully, all right. So those are our greetings on the chat.
All right, so the people on the WhatsApp coming in early as always is Kent. Kent is I got up early boy. Also, Vincent Ashton, good morning to you. Charmaine out there in New York, good morning. Time to get up. Sankofa, good morning. Chris A2 who is out there in Addis Ababa, and he says he's heading out to Nigeria. So
yeah, Chris out in Ethiopia.
Yeah,
wonderful.
Yeah. Archbishop Ashton Clark in Cole, Canada, and Peter Wilson, good morning to you. Frank out there in Aruka. Zena, good morning to you, Zena. Also to Mr. Billy in Powder Magazine. Colin and Kelly, they are from Carenage. Rena Budu Jennings, good morning. Sandra Sarat out there in Brazil Village. And that is the team on the inside so far on the WhatsApp, and everybody else who are streaming in different spaces. Good morning to the Guy L family and everybody who's picking us up on Guy L. So we're going for that break, and we will be back shortly. Get ready to sing. We have a couple of people in the box. We need to get some more as we go along.
Hey, you. Yes, you. I'm talking to you. So you think I can sing, huh? Well, then be part of our Carnival Karaoke. You know what? I don't like that name. Let's call it Carnival Karaoke. Carnival Karaoke. We'll call it Karaoke. Yeah, so you can be part of our Carnival Karaoke on the Breakfast Show on New Era TT Radio. Yep, it's happening Monday to Friday at 7:50 a.m. starting Monday the 19th of January, and all you have to do is sing a verse and a chorus of your favorite calypso, soca, chutney, old or new. Just sing it good, and you could be our karaoke singer, our champion for 2026. We're taking 2 contestants every day, and we're choosing one winner whose name will go into the championship box. And on Carnival Friday, the 13th of February, we'll have a grand draw for the karaoke champion on the Breakfast Show. The first ever prizes. Well, don't worry about that. You'll get something. Just come and sing and be part of our Carnival Karaoke on the Breakfast Show and New Era TT Radio. Sing, the man, sing.
Jump into savings at Furniture Plus. Enjoy up to 40% off in-store and online. Find amazing deals on furniture, appliances, mattresses, and more. Plus extra discounts on credit plans and free gifts with select purchases. Save more at Furniture Plus today.
This carnival, the seas are calling. Production Sounds and Ace Limers Entertainment presents Foreign Exchange. Foreign Exchange. A carnival season boat ride like no other.
I wanna be somewhere where the music is.
Sunday, February 8th, 2026. Hearts Cut, Shakarama.
Step aboard the Ocean Pelican and experience where soca meets the open water.
Boarding 7 p.m. Sailing 8 p.m. Music by Production Sounds.
DOC.
Kevin Baker. Beats by Robin. Young Pro and Bounty the Voice. DJ Eldon. And featuring International Steven. All the way from the U.S.
Tier 1 tickets, $250. Tier 2 tickets, $300. Cooler included. No glass bottles allowed. Get your tickets now at islandetickets.com or call 29218-4747.
Sunday, February 8th, 2026. Hearts Cut, Shakaramas. Foreign exchange.
With your bad energy.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
Let me also greet Bernadette Yates, Hillbenj, and Prabha Ramdial, who has joined our show and our chat. Good morning. All right. We go straight into the newspapers for today. Today, of course, is Tuesday. What am I saying? Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Actually, before you actually go there, Wendell, I just want to let people know this thing move about again.
Yeah, we'll move it.
Oh, yeah. You might move about because Richard not inside. Yeah. Yeah. Coming up in the next hour, our guest will be none other than Attorney Larry Lalla SC.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking ZOSO, legalities, loopholes, all the other things that we've been talking for the last couple of days. And we'll be looking off Mr. Lalla at around 7:25 after the poll.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get into karaoke, yeah?
Yep.
So, go ahead, Wendell.
All right. PM, use any object to defend yourself with deadly force. That's the top story. Amory, that's as in Dr. Amory Brown, has warned of a mechanic feeding frenzy that with the fixed penalty warnings, it will trigger a feeding frenzy among mechanics. I know exactly where it's going to trigger that feeding frenzy, and I didn't think it could be mechanics. Gas price going up. The Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association is warning that a proposed 76% increase in natural gas by state-owned NGC from US $3 to US $5 will trigger a gas price increase. Valsain shaken by violent home invasion and police shooting. Apparently this happened on Monday night and again yesterday afternoon. All right. Rights group slams school hair rules as humiliating. Again, as I say, why do we? It's like if some principals or some schools just feel they need to make the news and all of a sudden go after students with their hair. Kamala calls independent senators bootlickers and brown nosers. So, I have to laugh sometimes when they say it, because you remember when we were at the other place and our colleague Paul was an independent senator and they called them eater food. She called them eater food senators. And we used to tease Paul and say, yeah, eater food.
Oh,
well, it reached brown nosers and bootlickers now. What was yesterday? Vile and vapid. Vapid and what? Something else?
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. The language is unacceptable.
It is. But I just laugh because at least she consistent. PM open to regulating social media use for children under 12. Fire brings a halt to CNC3 newscast. I saw this news this morning.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't watch CNC3 news unless the other station breakdown.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know how extensive it was, but
apparently it wasn't bad because they resumed the newscast later on based on the story.
Okay.
St. Madeleine murder, Chinese restaurant owner bound and killed. Woman critical, man dead after police operation in Spring Village, and that's the Valsain story. Terror in Valsain, family assaulted, $60,000 stolen. Crash victim laid to rest, and PTSD bus victims saved. Family says she is in good spirits. That's excellent news. All right, so those are all stories trending in today's Express Online.
All right, so I'll go to the Newsday, and the Newsday for today, the trending stories. Venezuelan ambassador region stands united for peace and sovereignty. Man dead, woman injured after high-speed chase. 5 arrested, gun ammo seized in police operations in North and East Trinidad. Canadian tourist assaulted and robbed in Tobago, and social media erupts over South Schools Here rules. Would WTU a step in the right direction for workers? I think that's on the retrenchment and severance benefits bill, or proposed amendments, I guess. Holy Faith Convent Penal 2026 Secondary Schools Panorama Champion. And the front page of the Newsday, under 12 social media ban after hiking age limit on alcohol gambling. PM considers under 12 social media ban. Judge let errant police pay for misconduct, and OWTU government takes a step in the right direction for workers.
I think that judge is onto something good there. It's Justice Frank C. Prasad.
Yeah.
I think that is worth a discussion. When we get the Commissioner of Police, we're going to speak about that. Let errant police officers pay for their misconduct.
That's it for the Newsday.
All right, so in the Guardian today, that was almost on fire last night. Gas squeeze, manufacturers up in arms over pending hike by state-owned NGC. Then PM's energy conference snub raises concerns for energy sector. I think that's being said because he appeared there of Stuart Young. Prasad Bissessar criticized for targeting independent institutions. Also, Senator Atz rejects PM's attack on independent senators. Local civil groups support Venezuela, condemns U.S. actions. Motor vehicle bill passes with support from 8 independent senators. Brown says traffic bill leaves citizens at mercy of mechanics. And there was one other story I wanted to highlight. Anyhow, Transport Commissioner promises relief as long license office lines persist.
Yeah, that's going to go right up until the end of the month, at least, or maybe a couple months. But I just want to highlight 2 comments here. One from Carlisle Cupid, which I agree with. Donald Trump's lack of respect and concern for his European allies of 7 decades must awaken our government to a place in his priorities and the pecking order. But Lester Cradwell said Trump is very crafty at throwing red herrings at the media. He has absolutely no interest in claiming Greenland. It's all diversionary. Notice the media. Now, notice the media is no longer focused on the Epstein files. Lester, we said the same thing about Venezuela, that it was just a diversionary tactic to get away from Epstein. And guess what? It wasn't. Right? So it's clear, and I think we said it on the show. Richard certainly said it, that it's clear that what Donald Trump wants to do, he's going to do it. You understand? What he has expressed an interest in and in doing, he goes through with it. It's clear. You understand? So I don't see him backing away from that issue now. You understand? But time will tell, right? Let's hope you are right and I'm wrong. Yeah. So good morning, Ava Smith, also, and to all the others who are joining us on the show. Our poll, we know it from since yesterday. Are you willing to curtail your constitutional rights to fight crime? I've simplified it. Right? Are you willing to curtail some of your constitutional rights to fight crime? That will be our poll. So you could start voting from all now so we could get lots of votes in. Because we do have Larry Lalla, Senior Counsel, as our guest after the news and after the poll before we get into singing again. I hope Kazim call back today and sing over that song. Kazim, I hope you alone sing today, boy. I want you to be bad with that song.
Electric.
All right. So we can open the lines now, guys.
No, we have a
yes.
feature that we
Did you
usually
know?
do at this point. I don't know if you know that.
My apologies, sir. My apologies.
Yes, it's called Do You Know? Or
Did you know?
Ever notice how the worst people seem to get everything they want? Here's why. Life never rewards being good. What life does reward is certainty. Because the people you consider bad usually share one thing in common. They move through the world with an unshakable belief that they're allowed to have what they want. Meanwhile, the kind and good ones often hesitate, shrink, and question themselves. You see, most good people live with a split identity. They want more, but they feel guilty for wanting it. Meanwhile, the people you call bad, well, their mind, emotions, and actions are aligned in one direction. And this internal coherence between what you think, feel, and do is what collapses probability in your favor. Because the universe doesn't respond to good or bad. It responds simply to the signal you're broadcasting. You see, when you're torn from inside, you move slowly, you hesitate, you overthink every step. And that's exactly why your results start to look exactly like your inner state. But the people you call bad, they simply operate without internal resistance. They decide and they act. And action creates results long before goodness ever gets measured. So it's not that bad people win, it's that most good people have been trained to shrink, trained to be polite instead of powerful, trained to be agreeable instead of decisive, trained to make themselves small so others feel comfortable. And life simply mirrors that back. So what is life currently mirroring back to you?
That is so true.
Yeah. Well, it's around the world. And I mean, and you know, in terms of anyway, you know, I didn't want if people wanted an update, by the way, on that ZOSO bill, the Senate adjourned to today, I think, at 10 a.m. And so they started. I didn't really listen to it. I just know they adjourned. So I didn't really listen to the debate. So I don't know what people said in the debate. I don't know if people watched it, but I didn't. So we'll see how it all plays out today, whether independent senators are going to support it or not. They also discussed the extension of time for the motor vehicles, traffic fines and stuff like that.
They did?
Yeah, they did. That was one of the things on the table yesterday. And I know one of the senators did raise the point that we raised about the issue of more time needed than 3 days.
I think it's Dr. Brown.
So, but I don't know that it went anywhere because, you know, I don't think it went anywhere.
I think I saw a little clip about that on the news last night with Minister Zakur responding and saying, well, what if we give them longer, if between that time your windscreen shatter and it causes an accident or your light bulb blow in the back and somebody ram into the back of you. He was kind of trying to justify why it shouldn't be longer.
Yeah,
and
but I mean, you know, people fall in line. So that's really what happens. So it's, but what the senator had said was realistic. And she was articulating that you don't get parts in Trinidad automatically like that for a lot of things. And sometimes you have to wait.
Yeah.
And she said it's even worse if you're from Tobago. because you have to come to Trinidad to get the part. And sometimes you try searching for the part. So it's just a very unempathetic time that we are in, where people feel they are right and stand by it. And you know, the Prime Minister's language and how she's talking about independent senators and the kind of language that is being used is unfortunate, which I had a problem with Dr. Rowley too, as I said. We know that, but it's unfortunate. But you know what? I realize, you know, when people show you who they are, believe them.
Mm-hmm. Did it move from 21 days to 42 days, Mrs. R? Is that what you're saying? Or was that the proposal? Okay, she speaks, she gives these little one-liners. She said, but shut down. So I guess that was the proposal and it was shut down. Okay, I got it. That's what you mean. All right, so we could open the lines, people.
Yeah, so, and on that amendment, there were some questionable votes, I felt, you know. But anyway, I'm trying not to get, you know, after, you know, generally after I finish the show, I kind of detach myself. I will kind of watch what's happening, but, you know, I kind of detach myself. But before we get into the calls, I just wanted to play a bit of what Prime Minister Carney said yesterday at Davos.
The story of the international rules-based order was partially false. That the strongest would exempt themselves when convenient. That trade rules were enforced asymmetrically. And we knew that international law applied with varying rigor depending on the identity of the accused or the victim. This fiction was useful. And American hegemony in particular helped provide public goods, open sea lanes, a stable financial system, collective security, and support for frameworks for resolving disputes. So we placed the sign in the window. We participated in the rituals. And we largely avoided calling out the gaps between rhetoric and reality. This bargain no longer works. Let me be direct. We are in the midst of a rupture, not a transition. Over the past 2 decades, a series of crises in finance, health, energy, and geopolitics have laid bare the risks of extreme global integration. But more recently, great powers have begun using economic integration as weapons. Tariffs as leverage, financial infrastructure as coercion, supply chains as vulnerabilities to be exploited. You cannot live within the lie of mutual benefit through integration when integration becomes the source of your subordination.
My challenge is that we get all these warnings from world leaders, but at the end of the day, that ain't stopping that man anymore. That ain't stopping Putin. It ain't stopping.
Well, Wendell, you know, I think this is different. And you could sense it, that the world is absolutely changing. You could feel it. You could feel it. There's something about how the world is in this time. Even in Trinidad and Tobago, you're seeing it. You're seeing the harshness. You're seeing the lack of empathy in decisions. You're seeing where might is right. Use anything as a weapon and kill somebody if they come in your yard. I just say. I'm putting it in a kind of blunt way. I'm putting it in a kind of blunt way. You know, kill them violently. Rules-based orders. The rule-based order had a particular way of how you deal with certain things. But when it's convenient for certain countries, the rule-based order goes out the window, which is what Prime Minister Carney is talking about there. And a lot of in a Trinidad and Tobago context, a lot of the direction of this Prime Minister and the words that she says we know it aligns with the Trump administration, aligns with what he says and how he has managed the United States in his second term. But you could see that the world order is changing, and hopefully good comes out of it. You know,
well, I hope so too, because Canada has been one of those places that I find to be one of the more tolerant places on planet Earth.
Yeah, and but Canada also is under threat on a certain level from the United States.
Yes, they are.
You know, and who would ever thought that sentence was possible?
Yeah.
You know?
You have a lot of world buddies that cannot control world leaders.
Well, when the United Nations was set up post World War II, and when after the Bretton Woods Conference, which lay a lot of the foundation for the current world financial order, because that's where the IMF was founded in 1944, and where the World Bank was founded out of that Bretton Woods Conference in 1944. And remember, initially, the US dollar was pegged to gold. It was convertible to gold at a particular price, and the exchange rates around the world were 1% within a variable of that. That collapsed in 1970, I think around Nixon's time. I'm subject to correction to people who know this better than I do. And that's where that's where floating exchange rates came to pass, because that system of the gold being the standard against the US dollar and the transferability of it collapsed in around 1970 plus. And that's where the new world order of the foreign exchange rates floating came into existence. Well, I say new, but I mean, in terms of a transition to that. So the world adapts and changes as it needs to. And sometimes you get, people who thrust the world into a particular kind of dynamic, and we're in a period now where you have a lot of world leaders that are very hegemonic. You have in China, you have Russia. Now you have the United States in terms of how they are flexing. So we'll see how it goes, but what Prime Minister Carney talked about was the middle powers, and he was talking basically to a lot of Europe, and who has waged wars more than anybody else, I guess, over history, because Europe is by far older than the United States. And that the new world order and the international based order is probably going to rest with those middle power countries and how they align. And that's to the benefit of smaller countries like ourselves. And whether the Prime Minister is on the wrong side, our Prime Minister is on the wrong side of history, well, history will determine that. But certainly, we do have a voice, and we're still a democracy, and we can say what we agree with and what we disagree with. We can open up the lines at this point.
Yes, we can. Morning, Dean Allen. Morning, Scorpion Pepper. Morning, Debbie Mitchell. And who else joined us? Lyndon Williams. Good morning. All right. Are we taking calls?
Yeah. Caller, good morning to you. Thanks for holding.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Two things. One, let me just talk about the time period. And let's just be reasonable here. You get a ticket on the 5th of the month. Broken windshield. A windshield is about $3,000-$4,000 on the low end. Right? $2,000-$3,000 on the low end. On the high end, it could go as much as $8,000. Right?
You try to double that. Try doubling that.
Yeah, well, I know the vessels and them goes way past that, but right? But I am a middle class person. I say, well, okay, if I had a fixed thing, I had to wait till month end. I am monthly paid. You're talking more than 21 days. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
It should be fixed around a month. This is my opinion. It should be fixed around, okay, even if your month, whatever pay you're getting, you're sure you're getting pay month end, the 5th of the following month should be a deadline. Right? That is my suggestion. I find it very ironic now how the conversation of FUL just died down. And now we're resorting to use anything in your house to defend yourself. We stopped talking about FULs, and have you heard anything about FULs in the last 8 months?
I wouldn't say 8 months, but it's been a while.
Let's say 5 months.
Yeah.
Let's say 5 months after post-election. Have you heard any 6 months? Have you heard anything about FULs? Commissioner is silent about it. The government is silent about it. And now we're having the conversation of use anything in your house to defend yourself. As if the Prime Minister of a country has to tell you or me that if you have the opportunity to get the advantage on someone, you got the legal right to use anything in your house to defend yourself. A prime minister had to make that statement. We need the prime
That's a
minister.
recent statement too?
That was yesterday.
Yesterday?
That's yesterday.
I read that in the news, Sir Charles. That's one of the news headlines.
No, because I think because the bill has been assented to, so that it's now law.
What is now law?
Stand your ground, man.
Stand your ground. I think it's now law.
That has always been law. We have always had the right to defend ourselves in our home.
No, the law goes further than that, Lincoln. We discussed this already.
Okay, fine. But we have always had the right to defend ourselves in our homes.
For self-defense, yes. But you could not, if you could not intend, it always had to be proportionate. You could not kill somebody if you weren't under threat.
And I don't believe that any law could be passed that you could still do that.
Okay.
These lawyers are going to get us in trouble. These so-called politicians that are supposed to be lawyers are going to get citizens in serious trouble.
All right, okay, no problem. Lincoln, thanks much. I saw there was a video there yesterday also, some circulating with somebody that caught somebody either in the yard or in the house. And I that stand your ground thing came to mind one time.
I think the president only recently assented to it, that. So I think it's now law. I'm subject to correction, but I think that only happened yesterday.
Yeah. Kola, good morning.
Sir Charles, good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Wendell, good
morning.
And Richard, good morning.
Good morning.
So something, I want to find out if the Prime Minister is okay. Really and truly, and this is not no joking matter. Because every day she's unhinged. Every day is a different description of somebody, and the things what she said in today's paper, where she said those those presidential senators did not face the electorate, so they are not right to talk, right? Because
we have moved into a period in world history where you have leaders like Donald Trump who say what they feel without edit. The Prime Minister is simply following and mirroring those footsteps. So she's saying whatever she feels to say and however she feels to say it, even though she should know better as a senior counsel, quite frankly, in how you use language. And I always say leadership matters, and leadership and how you speak as a leader matters. And we're in a time where we have leaders who are contrary to that. You had it with Duterte in the Philippines. You had it, you've had leaders, you had Bolsonaro, whatever is in Brazil. Yeah, who spoke in a particular kind of way, kind of strongman way now, a bad. And you speak in a way where you don't care and where you don't edit your words. Is that a way to lead? In my opinion, no, it's not. So I don't know that it's, I hear what you're saying about unhinged. I don't know that it's anything about unhinged. I think it's a style that some leaders feel that it's all right to say whatever they feel like saying, and there is no consequence to the language they use. So that era of diplomatic speak seems to be out the window by some leaders.
Yeah. Go ahead, Deputy.
If those exact words were said till last year by a previous Prime Minister, well, Lord have mercy, the tongue would have been on fire.
Well, Dr. Rowley said some things too in his tenure that raised eyebrows and was the subject of criticism. So he's not really the best example in terms of language. He's not the best example of appropriate language as leadership either.
Right, yeah, I agree. But the thing is, look at something, and because of her behavior as well, her people in the Senate, and look at yesterday's incident where Philip Alexander liked to play taunting senators. I'm not taunting the opposition side, and he got put out, but I find that 20 minutes wasn't long enough. It should have been to the entire session because he likes to, because the Prime Minister is doing it, they follow in her. So he figure, I will provoke.
No, well, he got put out because his phone rang.
Yeah.
His phone rang
But you know, I know we got J News now, but the reality is you've seen the poster, Big Bad UNC, and the Prime Minister has obviously transmitted her style. When people show you who they are, believe them. And which is why that zone of special operations law is concerning. Because of the power it gives. And people could justify it in all kinds of ways. I've always said, I don't believe either party between the UNC and the PNM deserves a constitutional majority. I've said that previously. I don't believe either of them deserve it. And that ZOSO law and the attitude of that we see manifesting in certain ways is why you need checks and balances, in my opinion, and why I figure that law should not be low.
All right.
Well,
So,
you know, I'm not going to go back into all of that, but you know what my position.
We're going to deal with that in after the break. Wendell, the poll.
Our poll is up, people. Are you willing to curtail your constitutional rights to help fight crime? Yes or no? I know we had several votes when I announced it earlier on, so we're going to go back there, but you can continue to vote now all the way up to when we bring in our guest. All right? Are you willing to curtail your constitutional rights to help fight crime? Yes or no? We go for the news.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is News Now for Wednesday, the 21st of January, on New Era TT Radio and Guy L Caribbean TV. I'm Derek McMillan. Thank you for joining us. The Office of the Attorney General has confirmed that the government has ended a long-running Privy Council appeal involving Proman Holdings and CL Financial, citing risks to the country's economic stability. The dispute stemmed from a controversial 2009 sale of a 51% stake in Plico Energy to Proman. The High Court and Court of Appeal ruled the transaction invalid and fraudulent, ordering the return of the shares and hundreds of millions of dollars in dividends. After taking office, the government sought legal advice and opted to settle with court approval rather than continue costly litigation. Officials say the agreement allows the state to recover significant funds while bringing closure to one of the major legal battles linked to the CL Financial collapse. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar says government is open to banning social media use for children under 12, echoing concerns raised by Archbishop Charles Jason Gordon about online harm to young people. In WhatsApp comments on January 19th, Persad-Bissessar said while Gordon's concerns are valid, banning social media for adults would infringe on free speech. She added that legislation may be considered only for children, noting there is also a need to protect private citizens from online abuse and bullying. Public Administration and AI Minister Dominic Smith said the challenge is not eliminating technology, but governing it responsibly. He supports stronger safeguards for children, platform accountability, digital literacy, and ethical online behavior. Gordon has urged government to follow Australia's example, warning that social media is designed to be addictive and poses serious risks to children. The Oilfields Workers Trade Union has welcomed proposed amendments to the Retrenchment and Severance Benefits Act, describing them as long overdue reforms that strengthen worker protections. The OWTU said the changes expand the definition of redundancy to cover insolvency and receivership, protecting workers who lose jobs through company closures or collapse. The union also welcomed proposals to give workers priority payment of severance during insolvency proceedings. It further supported plans for a severance benefits fund, improved consultation requirements during retrenchment, clearer rules on temporary layoffs, and priority rehiring of retrenched workers. The union said the reforms modernize outdated provisions and represent a major step forward for workers in Trinidad and Tobago. the sister of a 69-year-old woman whose arm was crushed by a PTSD bus last week, says she is recovering well and remains in good spirits. Hasina Mathura is hospitalized at the San Fernando General Hospital, where doctors have stabilized her injured arm with wires and screws. Her sister, Ashmun Lalchung, confirmed that the arm was not amputated and that doctors expect a full recovery, though Mathura remains in pain. Lalchung said the family has been contacted by the PTSD and thanked members of the public for their support. Police said Mathura fell while exiting the bus along the Naparima Mayaro Road in Palmyra, and the vehicle rolled over her arm. The incident is under investigation by Ste Madeline Police, while the PTSD has launched an internal review. A high court judge has again called for legislative reform to hold police officers personally accountable for unlawful arrests, saying taxpayers should not bear the cost of police misconduct. Justice Frank Seepersad made the comments after ruling that a special reserve police officer acted maliciously in the 2019 arrest of Sangre Grande businessman Jawanza Simmons. The court found Simmons was wrongfully arrested, assaulted, detained for 12 hours, and prosecuted without lawful cause. The charges were later dismissed after the officer repeatedly failed to appear in court. Justice Seepersad described the conduct as arbitrary and outside the rule of law, warning against a culture of unlawful arrests. The state was ordered to pay Simmons $100,000 in damages, with the judge urging Parliament to ensure offending officers pay damages personally. Finally, in international news, from his first day back in office, President Donald Trump made clear he would not be constrained by convention. Invoking manifest destiny in his inauguration speech, he declared the United States would reclaim strategic territory, first naming the Panama Canal and now Greenland. No modern U.S. president has openly threatened to seize land from a long-standing ally, alarming NATO partners and raising fears of a breakdown in the post-war global order. Critics warn Trump's America First agenda prioritizes power over alliances, with some likening it to a return to imperial politics. Trump's supporters insist it is hard-nosed realism. But as Europe braces for trade conflict and security uncertainty, many fear the rules governing international relations are being rewritten by force of will rather than law. And that is news at this time.
That was news now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Hey you! Yes you! I'm talking to you. So you think I can sing, huh? Well, then be part of our Carnival Karaoke. You know what? I don't like that name. Let's call it Carnival Karaoke. Carnival Karaoke. We'll call it Karaoke. Yeah, so you can be part of our Carnival Karaoke on the Breakfast Show on New Era TT Radio. Yep, it's happening Monday to Friday at 7:50 a.m. starting Monday the 19th of January, and all you have to do is sing a verse and a chorus of your favorite calypso, soca, chutney, old or new. Just sing it good, and you could be our karaoke singer, our champion for 2026. We're taking 2 contestants every day, and we're choosing one winner whose name will go into the championship box. And on Carnival Friday, the 13th of February, we'll have a grand draw for the karaoke champion on the Breakfast Show. The first ever prizes. Well, don't worry about that. You'll get something. Just come and sing and be part of our Carnival Karaoke on the Breakfast Show and New Era TT Radio. Sing, the man, sing.
Your mid-morning just got better. Join Sir Charles for the mid-morning mix and mingle, where good music, real talk, health, and family matters come together, and your voice is heard. Whether you're at work, on the go, or just taking a break, this is the perfect mix to keep you engaged, informed, and entertained. The mid-morning mix and mingle, weekdays, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Morning vibes, fresh energy. This is the Net Radio Breakfast Show.
Hey! Hear what I want you to do.
I want everybody line up on yourself. And you see that calabash there? Listen, I want you dip in that tub of mud and bathe yourself. Hey, hey, dip in that tub of mud and bathe yourself. Come on, dip in that tub of mud, dip in that tub of mud, dip in that tub of mud and bathe yourself. Hey, it's Juve morning and we having fun. I just love the posse, but same time I bounce up one. I think I dip in the business, so I'm money just like them. Two girls come and hold me and start calling me friend. But this song that they're singing over and over, ringing out in me. But with the liquor, the woman, the doo-doo, the iron, hey, where the hell I care? They're singing brand, oh God, yeah, they're singing brand, yeah. They're singing bragadang, oh. I have to sing where they're singing, here where they're singing, oh, bragadang, bragadang, we coming down. Juve morning, bragadang, bragadang, we coming down. With Juve junkies, bragadang, bragadang, we coming down. It's Juve morning, bragadang, bragadang, we coming down. With Juve junkies, take a dip in the mud and bathe yourself. That's what we do. Take a dip in the mud and bathe yourself. Yeah. Take a dip in the mud, take a dip in the mud, take a dip in the mud and bathe yourself. Why? I buy the twin towers, no matter high off the ground. Up in the distance, I see the street get brung. It was a big mud section, and I come out to play. By the time that I pass through, your boy looking like clay. Then one of them girl hand me a posy full up with something brown. I take 1 drink, 2 drink, 3 drink, 4. Next thing I on the ground and they're singing brand. Oh gosh, they're singing brand, yeah. They're singing bragadang, Lord. I have to sing where they're singing. Yeah, where they're singing, oh bragadang, bragadang, we coming down. Juve morning, bragadang, bragadang, we coming down. With Juve junkies, bragadang, bragadang, we coming down. It's Juve morning, bragadang, bragadang, we coming down. With Juve junkies, take a dip in the mud and bathe yourself. You hear me right now, right now. Take a dip in the mud and bathe yourself. Take a dip in the mud, take a dip in the mud, take a dip in the mud and bathe yourself. Yeah! Aha! Where the Juve junkies? Where the Juve junkies? What the one spider wine there? Juve junkies. Haha! What do you give my dose about this? Give my dose about and then, soak him with the watch. Give him the whole top. Give him the whole top of wine. I want your bed wine, you take him some bed too, some bed too. Hey! Juve junkies in dog, Juve junkies in dog. I like myself, I like myself.
Mornings just got better. You're locked into NETT Radio Breakfast Show.
Yeah, man, you know the big up man like Wrench and Dan, you know them boys. Mikey! Mud in your beard, boy, mud in your beard. Beard, look mud in Mikey beard. You know the big up man like Wrench and
Take a dip in the mud and bathe yourself. Yeah.
Mud in your beard, boy.
Now I'm wondering, I'm hearing some songs for the carnival and you're just not hearing them anywhere.
Like Wrench and Dan, you know them.
Makes you really, really wonder what is going on. Is there really a mafia or not?
Mud in your beard, boy, mud in your beard.
Maybe you have to ask that as a poll.
Mikey beard.
Hey, dear people, good day to you, and of course, welcome. Welcome inside the second hour of the breakfast show. Of course, you're listening to New Era TT Radio. This is the heartbeat of the Caribbean, and yes, we take you above and beyond. Remember, you can listen to us all day, every day. For those of you who are not aware that we stream at newerattradio.com. That's for all of you on the social media platforms and on Gaia Caribbean TV, right? So after we come off of Gaia around 8:30, somewhere around that time, guess what? You can listen to us all day. NewEraTTRadio.com. If you're on TuneIn, you can just put in New Era TT Radio and you get us on TuneIn. Get us on your Alexa and Google devices. Yeah.
Mud in your beard, boy. Mud in your beard.
And of course, when you go to our different platforms, look for the like and subscribe button. That's very important. But equally important is that you find our support donate buttons and you can support the platform, right? Keep us up and running. Make it simpler for you. You can also text donate to 299-5156. Just text the word donate and someone will get in contact with you to tell you how to do that, right? So the poll is up and it's running. Are you willing to curtail Meaning give up your
Mud in your beard, boy. Mud in
some of your constitutional rights
Mud in my
to help fight crime.
You gotta big up man like Wrench and Danny and all them boy them so. Hey.
You're voting yes or no.
Mud in your beard. Mud in your beard.
Anything else after that, but yes or no first right now, okay?
You gotta big up man like Wrench and Danny and all
When we come back, we'll tell you how you voted.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
This carnival, the seas are calling. Production Sounds and Ace Limers Entertainment presents Foreign Exchange.
Foreign Exchange. A carnival season boat ride like no other.
I wanna be somewhere where the music is.
Sunday, February 8th, 2026. Hearts Cut, Chakarama.
Step aboard the Ocean Pelican and experience where soca meets the open water.
Boarding 7 p.m. Sailing 8 p.m. Music by Production Sounds. DOC. Kevin Baker. Beats by Robin. Young Pro and Bounty the Voice. DJ Eldon. And featuring International Steven. All the way from the U.S.
Tier 1 tickets, $250. Tier 2 tickets, $300. Cooler included. No glass bottles allowed. Get your tickets now at islandetickets.com or call 29218-4747.
Sunday, February 8th, 2026. Hearts Cut, Chakaramas. Foreign Exchange.
Jump into savings at Furniture Plus. Enjoy up to 40% off in-store and online. Find amazing deals on furniture, appliances, mattresses, and more. Plus extra discounts on credit plans and free gifts with select purchases. Save more at Furniture Plus today.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
I have to go all the way back to 640 something to get some votes. All right. So I'm going to be doing that now. Of course, our poll is still up. Are you willing to curtail your constitutional rights to help fight crime? That's our poll today. So you can continue to vote all now, but we had quite a few votes when we put it up first. So I will start with Ava Smith at 6:41 a.m. All right. If anybody had a vote before that, could you please repeat it so that I'll catch it after? All right. If you voted before Ava Smith at 6:41 a.m., you can put back your vote so that I can get it right. But if you voted in that first tranche, you don't have to vote again. Right. So as soon as Sir Charles is ready, I'll come.
I'm ready. Let's go.
He's ready. No. Ava Smith. No. Suzanne Jessup. No. Valerie Mendoza, no. Marlon Motley, no. Miguel Gonzalez, no. Annalie Johnson, no. Apollonus, no. Eunice Dublin, no. Diane, no. David McCarthy, no. Gregory Boyer, no. Kazim Mohammed, no. I wonder if there's a Kazim who sang yesterday, right? Who sang is yesterday? Yeah. Brennan Smith, no. Finbar Collins, no. I wouldn't be able to sneak out. Finbar, what is that? What is a P? What is Pum? Okay, I'm not sure. No? I want to hazard a guess. Dave Gosine, no. Lester Cragwell says no. Let's see. Scorpion Pepper says yes. I'm not sure if that yes is for the poll, Scorpion Pepper. You'll have to help me out there, right? Let me see if I could get down now. Mrs. R, no. And then she said, yeah, I think this is a different discussion. Oh, she said no here, and then she said yes after. So I'm not sure. Mrs. Ayada also helped me out with your poll, right? Lyndon Williams says no. Let me see. There's a lot of chat going on here. A lot of chat took place after those first initial votes. So let me go back down. Right. Bernadette Yates, no. Whoever slimy show is Sir Charles needs to be banned and comments removed again.
Yeah.
If I'm not
Of
mistaken.
course, slimy, behave yourself now, man.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, we did it
That's
before.
an extra work you're giving people, man.
You can't call the host and them kind of names. Sorry, we ain't tolerating that. No, Alistair Hart, no. James Kamau, no. Avion Abraham, no. Lincoln Foxtrot, no. Trini, that's Kurt Hope, no. Jason Samuel is saying yes. Scorpion Pepper, no. Oh, she voted since yesterday. Okay, no problem. Thanks, Scorpion. Shoma Paul says no. Helen Prescott, no. Colted Finch, no. Charmaine Lewis, no. Ron DeSantis Jr., no. Carol Guevara, no. Slick Money Grip, no. Beauty Culture says, no, I'm not. The TTPS must do their job. Okay. All right, so that's no.
As I know.
Susie B, no. Magic, no. The Constitution is there for a reason. Joseph Clement, no. Robert Taylor, no. Kenny and Harlem, no. Rena Boodoo Jennings, no. Deborah Noel Serret, no. Michael Eastman, no. Margarita Chow, no. Trini Merle Kitchen, no. Richard Phillip, no. Anthony Bullard, no. Cheryl Mirage, no. And that's it. That's it. That's what I have on the chat here.
All right. So let me go through the WhatsApp for you guys now. And where did the WhatsApp start, boy? Hold on. Went back down. Right. I think it started with Zena. Zena says, hell no. Mr. Beeps. What did Mr. Beeps say? Oh, Lord. I tell these people what to do, you know. I'll go back into the whole thing. All right. So Mahi says no. Pauline says yes. Sean says yes. Captain Ron says no. Fifi says no. Kenwin says no. Freya says yes. Sachin says yes. Sankofa says no. Laverne, no. Raymond says no. Randy Santos didn't vote. Frank in Aruka says yes. Peter Wilson, no. Judith in Tobago says yes. Brenda Pinal says no. And of course, I think that was it. Any others on your side?
Yes, I have two more. Julia Samantha said no, and Andre PH says yes. Oh, Debbie Mitchell also says yes. Right? That's it.
Yeah, one by now.
Those are the votes I have. Whilst you're counting the votes, I want to just alert people. I like fruits, right? And I buy a lot of fruits, especially citrus. You see that 20 for 20 Portugal scam that some of these people running on the highways and byways? Half of it ain't no good, you know.
Serious?
Yeah, they dry, they're rotten. I'm so disappointed. Every time I get every time I say okay, I'm gonna buy, I am so disappointed. I'd have pelt away half.
Oh my word. Anyhow, let me see with the poll because our guest is already inside, right?
All right.
So on the poll, what is the poll again, Adele?
Are you willing to curtail your constitutional rights to help fight crime?
Well, 63 people on the poll today. 52 of them said no, and 11 persons said yes. 52 of you said no, and 11 said yes.
Ooh, good totals today. Yeah. All right, lovely.
I am with the I'm willing to give up some of my rights at some point in time if it's necessary. Not indefinitely, but at times, yes.
I am not willing to give it up, except that the police has to do their job. And somebody I think also put in the chat earlier on, and which is what I've been saying for years. If the police can't deal with their own police, then they can't deal with the public. And that's their problem. The problem is dealing with their own rogues inside of there. And until they deal with that, it'll be very difficult for them to deal with the rogues out here. That's what's happening. All right?
Yeah, well, I think it's a little more deeper than that, but we'll get into that probably on another day. Where is that? I don't think it's as simple as that. But we have our guest, so let's get into our Let's Talk segment.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. Our guest is, where is he? Larry Lalla, Senior Counsel.
There he is.
Right. Morning, Mr. Lalla, Senior Counsel.
Good morning, gentlemen, to you and to your listeners and viewers.
Thank you for joining us once again.
You're welcome.
But I guess we could poll you one time on our poll. Are you willing to give up some of your constitutional rights to help fix crime?
I mean, that is a very wide question. I will only be prepared to give up some of my rights if I see there's a serious plan and a serious effort at policing. That is the only way. And I mean, the reason I say that, all right, we have been under the state of emergency for quite some time, right? How many crimes have been solved and persons charged for crimes committed as a result of this state of emergency and as a result of this giving up of some of our liberties, which we've been asked to do for this period of time. It can't be that we have a state of emergency or we have zones of special operations, right? That is the bill we're discussing. Simply as instruments of repression and oppression, without that surrender of rights being accompanied by charges and prosecutions of persons who are seen to be committing crimes, right? That can't be right. It can't make sense.
Yeah.
So I mean, I hope I answered your question.
Well, it's consistent with, I guess, with what Richard has exposed, and I guess I have also said in terms of the policing. If it is clearly a policing issue that has fallen apart, and that we are now using this state of emergency and ZOSO to buttress.
Yeah, and what result are we getting for it, right? Yes, we have seen a decrease in the number of murders, right? But what is happening to crime? And who are we charging the persons who are responsible for the state of apparent lawlessness that we have in some areas? I don't believe that the country is a lawless dump, as the Prime Minister seemed to think, and as she has said. But there are individuals that need to be brought to justice and charged, prosecuted, and jailed for offenses. And is that being done? And if that is not being done, then the problem we have is not a state of emergency or zone of special operation problem. It's a policing problem.
Yeah.
It isn't only a policing problem as far as getting people. What about the other areas of this whole puzzle that makes it happen? So the police go out, they arrest people. What about the judiciary? What about who have been complaining about not having to go ahead? What about the DP and their office?
Point taken. It's a criminal justice problem, then, put it that way. But I have a concern about the bill right? And it's linked to what the point you have just made, and I'm just opening the bill on my phone here. We see in section 25 of the bill that there's an acknowledgement by the government that the problems that are faced by certain communities, which we call hotspots, is not just a crime problem. And in fact, the crime problem may be a symptom of other issues, right? So in the bill, we see that section 25 onwards deals with the setting up of a social transformation committee. So how it is intended to work: if the Prime Minister declares that where you live should be a zone of special operation and your constitutional rights should be suspended while the police and the regiment do whatever they have to do in your community, within 5 days of that declaration of a zone of special operation, the Prime Minister shall set up what is called a social transformation committee. The social transformation committee deals with certain things. One, they assess conditions within the zone, including the state of the physical infrastructure, health, environment, land tenure, housing, and settlements. 2, it identifies threats to sustainable development of the communities. 3, develop sustainable development plan, which shall include addressing issues relating to health, the environment, social improvement, infrastructure development, education, economic development. 4, recommend social interventions, etc., etc. Why is it necessary, gentlemen, for a community to be declared a zone of special operation before you could have a social transformation committee set up in relation to that community?
Yeah.
We should have social transformation committees set up in all our distressed communities. Has the government done that? And why not? If you are acknowledging in this bill that there is a very real connection between the lack of social transformation and crime, why is it necessary for a community to be asked to first give up some of their constitutional rights before a social transformation committee could be set up to deal with that particular community? That is wrong. The government had embarked on a systematic termination of thousands of persons all over the country, and certainly persons who live in distressed communities. What that could reasonably lead to is an increase in crime. Why has the government done that without setting up these social transformation committees in these areas? And why are they seeking to, I would say, bribe communities by saying, look, if we declare you a zone of special operation, if you surrender some of your constitutional rights, then you could have the social transformation that you so desperately need, and which we acknowledge that you need.
Yes.
Why is it being done that way? It's insulting, in my respectful view.
And I'm listening to you, Mr. Lalla, and I'm saying this is not new in terms of what has been planned for certain communities. I am disappointed by the PNM government for not doing it at the point in time, because it was enunciated way back then that certain communities needed help, special help, and a special intervention, and it wasn't done. You understand? And you're right. You send the people home en masse, and now you want to fix it. But the police, in my opinion, always had the power to go into these communities and deal with the criminal element. Why do they need?
Absolutely. They still do. I mean, if you have a police service that is operating as it should, gathering intelligence, using that intelligence to conduct surveillance, using that surveillance to arrest persons, take them to court, prosecute them, and convict them, right? If that is being done, then we wouldn't need zone of special operation, we wouldn't have certain communities being further stigmatized as zones, right? I mean, imagine I work hard to save some money, put up a little house for my family, right? And you coming and telling me that I have to surrender my rights because I happen to live in a particular community in order for you to deal with something that you should have been dealing with all along, right? Why should the fact that I live in the zone in Tunapuna and I have my house there mean that I should be treated differently from the man in Westmoreland or Goodwood Park, right? I have an equal right to enjoyment of my property as the man in Goodwood Park or Westmoreland. So why are you asking me to surrender my rights? Because you have been ineffective in running and managing the police force.
Yeah.
There's something not right there.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. So Charles?
I would think in a probably a more perfect society, we may be able to say that, okay, the police are the ones to do certain things. But given the fact that some of those things that are required are not there, and a government coming into office with a time period, which is actually just 5 years, to try to remedy all these things that have not been fixed over all these how many years. The police service is a mess. The judiciary is in a mess. The DPP office is lacking. With all of these factors taken into consideration, that things are not in place, is it fair to say that where they are starting, trying to use ZOSO as a suppression to treat with the crime situation because of what is not available, no money is available to fix some of these things? Is it a realistic view also, or that the government may be looking at it that way?
Well, I mean, there's a certain amount of hypocrisy in that position, because you are, on the one hand, you'll be saying, well, look, we acknowledge that there is need for social transformation in your community. But on the other hand, you're saying, well, look, we really don't have the money to deal with the problem, so just give up your rights, and we'll see where we end up in 5 years, right? And you can't run a country in that way, right? That there could be no quick fix to the crime problem that we have. You have to dig your heels in, go deep, identify the problems in the communities and address them, right? I mean, simply treating parts of the country like Gaza and going in there and trying to wipe out what you identify as a problem is not going to solve the problem. And we're going to end up probably with a bigger problem than we started off with.
Now, Mr. Lalla, you were senior counsel. You would have sat as a senator under the I think the UNC government, and you would also have sat as a temporary senator under the PNM government.
Yeah.
How do you just digress a bit? How do you respond to the language being used by the Honorable Prime Minister towards independent senators at this point in time?
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, and I like the way you have framed your question, because I have seen independent senators operate from both sides of the political spectrum, and I have always been impressed with the fact that they have been able, whether it's senators picked by a president that is installed by UNC government or PNM government. People go there and they understand the role that they have to play, and they're professionals and they do their job. You know, I was in the Senate when the stand your ground legislation was on the floor of the Senate, right? And I saw how the senators, the independent senators who are there presently, how they labored with the issue at hand and tried to arrive at a position which was in the country's interest. And some of them agreed with the government. A couple of them expressed reservations, but they did their job and the system worked. So I think it's very unfortunate that the Prime Minister, in her Donald Trump sort of way, attempts to bully and cajole and force persons by insulting them to do what she believes they should do. And that is wrong. And we have to come out and we have to call it for what it is, right? It is our Prime Minister trying to give us a Donald Trump. And we should have none of it.
Yes.
Just as the world is openly saying they will have none of what Donald Trump is doing with Greenland. Similarly, we must let our Prime Minister know that behavior wouldn't work here.
Yes. How do you expect, though, that particular tactic to work?
Well, I don't think it'll have any effect on the independent senators. It's probably just the Prime Minister beating her base for what might come if the independent senators disagree with the government on this legislation. And she'll be able to say, well, you see, look, they're PNM, and that is why they did that. Right? I think she's just setting it up.
Yes.
But the intelligent persons, of which there are many in our society, will see it for what it is.
Yes. Yes.
So going back just to the bill of itself, right? Do you think that if there were some safeguards that go into this particular bill, like, okay, for example, a sunset clause, oversight as to what triggers the ZOSO, and things like that, do you think if those things may have been included, that this ZOSO may be workable?
Yeah, I think I'm minded to agree with you. But what has been included in the bill is quite unsatisfactory. So we have, as a check and balance for the Prime Minister within a certain amount of time after the ZOSO has been declared, to come and make, quote unquote, a statement to the Parliament, right? So we have seen how those things operate at present in our Parliament, where the Prime Minister comes, says something, and can't be properly questioned on why something is being done. And that doesn't assist us in the democracy in which we live, because you can't get any proper explanation from the Prime Minister presently, far more for under something like the ZOSO Bill. So there should be proper checks and balances. There should be proper accountability to the Parliament and the representatives of the people as to why things would be done in a certain way under this bill. And at present, the way the bill is drafted, that does not exist. So that is something that should be considered. Proper checks and balances. The average Trinidadian wants to have a safe Trinidad and Tobago. We want to go about our daily affairs without being in fear. We want to have our children walk the streets on the way to school, etc., without fear of crime. And we want something to be done. But it has to be done by striking the proper balance between governmental power and the rights of the citizens. And this bill needs more work before it could be properly said that balance is achieved.
Yeah. I think Richard is back with us.
Yeah. No, I was listening to the conversation, actually. Good morning, Larry Lalla.
Good morning.
Senior
Good morning.
Counsel. Yeah. So, because my position on this bill is very clear, but I've always had the position, which may, I suppose, differ from you slightly, Larry. I always have the position that states of emergencies are not crime-fighting tools, and that and which I think is what you said, that the issue is the police. And
Yeah.
the issue in fighting crime is holding criminals accountable for their actions, and that criminals know psychologically that if I was to do the crime, there is a high probability that I will be caught. And that's what makes a dent in crime. Holding people accountable and the process working, which of course is a combination of the criminal justice system, as you said. And
Well,
so when I saw that, yeah, go ahead.
I still waited to hear where we disagree.
No, well, you said that you were prepared to give up some of your rights in certain situations, in terms of the fight against crime. I am not, unless it's some sort of terrorist plot and it's a threat to the overall an external threat to the national security of the country. Otherwise, you work within the parameters of the constitutional protections.
No, but we agree, because I started off by saying that only if I see there is proper policing and it is not working would I be prepared to do something more to give up my rights. That is what I started off by saying. So I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree with you in that regard.
And what is concerning to me about this this bill, because I had gone through it previously, sometime last week when we were talking about the bill. Not only is there no oversight, and checks and balances are always important. And I look at legislation as it's not about you, whoever is in the position of prime minister now. It's the issue of the position, period. Should the position have that kind of power to unilaterally call it without any oversight?
Yeah, and I think a very important point, Richard, Wendell and Sir Charles, is that there was no public consultation whatsoever before this bill was brought to the Parliament. Unlike the stand your ground legislation, where the government went to their constituents, to their supporters, it wasn't a national consultation. Went to their supporters and had some form of consultation. In relation to this bill, there's been nothing. And you have to ask the question, why?
Well, it almost seems to me, Larry, it comes across like if it almost seems as if they're saying, well, the state of emergency is coming to an end, but we still want that tool in some manner or form to continue. And so let's move to what Jamaica did in Canada. Yeah,
it's merely a tool of suppression without being accompanied by serious policing. Right, because we have not seen, as I made the point earlier, we have not seen, and it may have happened, I don't know, but we know it has not been brought to the public. But we have not seen where persons have been arrested, charged, and prosecuted for criminal offenses coming out of the giving up of rights that we've been asked to do in this state of emergency.
Yes. It's and if we have to go based on what came out into the public domain, the SOE was on the advice of the police.
Yeah,
and so we have to suspect that this zone of special operation is also based on their advice.
We started off by hearing there was this threat of life to ministers, and the AG spoke about bazooka. You remember that?
A rocket launcher.
A rocket launcher. And nothing. You know, and as a country, we just quiet on all of this. It is amazing, right? I mean, that we allow the government to suppress the rights of the people in this way, this haphazard, almost comical way. I mean, it would be a joke if it wasn't so serious.
Yes. I know we have to start wrapping up, Mr. Lalla, but just before you go, any opinions on the issue of the fines and penalties that have been imposed on a lot of traffic offenses and so on? Any opinion on that?
Well, I mean, I don't think enough people are calling out the elephant in the room and saying, well, look, this has nothing to do with road behavior, but merely revenue, the increasing of revenue for the government because of the ridiculous promises that the government made during the election campaign, which they now have to find a way to finance. You know, it has nothing to do with curtailing behavior. I share the view that the previous system that was in place, the point system, while it needed to be, amended in certain ways and to make it more humane, I think that system would have done more in order to really curb behavior on our roads than this fine system. You would have persons being fined. They would not pay the fine. They will continue driving until they're caught again and charged again. And it is going to end up with a system where you would have long lists in the magistrate's court taking up magistrate's time to deal with all of these persons who have been fined and who are not turning up in court. And you have a magistrate sitting down in a court calling hundreds of matters every day, wasting judicial time, and there being no real accompanying of changes in road usage behavior.
Well,
right. So
you comfort me with those words, because that's exactly how I saw it going.
It's a road to nowhere but the treasury.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's how I see it.
Okay, Mr. Lalla, thank you very much for joining us this morning. I really appreciate your thoughts.
Thanks a lot, Larry. A good day to you and to your listeners and viewers.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. Of course, that was Larry Lalla, Senior Counsel. Always very clear and concise and articulate in terms of how he expresses the law. Thank you so much, Mr. Lalla.
Yeah, really appreciate it. All right, so people, it's time for you to sing.
Hey, you. Yes, you. I'm talking to you. So you think I can sing, huh? Well, then be part of our Carnival Karaoke. You know what? I don't like that name. Let's call it Carnival Karaoke. Carnival Karaoke. We'll call it Karaoke. Yeah, so you can be part of our Carnival Karaoke on the Breakfast Show on New Era TT Radio. Yep, it's happening Monday to Friday at 7:50 a.m. starting Monday the 19th of January, and all you have to do is sing a verse and a chorus of your favorite calypso, soca, chutney, old or new. Just sing it good, and you could be our karaoke singer, our champion for 2026. We're taking 2 contestants every day, and we're choosing one winner whose name will go into the championship box. And on Carnival Friday, the 13th of February, we'll have a grand draw for the karaoke champion on the Breakfast Show. The first ever prizes. Well, don't worry about that. You'll get something. Just come and sing and be part of our Carnival Karaoke on the Breakfast Show and New Era TT Radio. Sing, the man, sing.
All right, it's time for you to sing. So it's time for you to call us. All right? 281-1315-299-5156 and see if you can sing your song, sing it well, and get yourself inside of the championship box. We have a few names over the last couple of days. You can sing your soca, your chutney, your calypso, your ZOSO. But you can just sing it this morning. You can sing it a cappella, or you can play music in the background. It's up to you.
Right, all right. Yeah, of course. We had 2 acapellas yesterday who did quite well. You understand? Kazim and Chris, they did quite well yesterday.
Yeah. So come on, we need some people up inside of here. You need to sing. And they say, well, the lines are not really too busy right now. So if you get one person inside, you automatically going into the box today. And we have somebody actually. So, hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
KB for the promotion here.
Hi, KB.
I want to try all that karaoke thing now.
Yeah.
I'm again. I'm a little melody from Sparrow now, right?
You're singing it a cappella?
Well, it's a cappella, it's more or less a melody. Right?
Okay. All right. Okay. KB, where are you in? Where are you calling us from?
From Davidi.
KB from Davidi.
Guess not in KB Charles.
No,
not V. B.
Because I don't know how they're going to beat KB Charles, but
we throw him out of the competition one time. Anytime KB call here, we throw them out of the competition.
I tell you.
One time. All right, KB, go ahead whenever you're ready.
Okay. Nina and Dinah, Rosita and Clementina, round the corner posing. Sexual life is something they're selling. If you catch them broken, you could get them all for nothing. Don't make a wrong. The Yankee gun and Sparrow take over now. People, the cultural run below when they reach. They hold the head on ball. When they think it's mango, it's the branches called Gina and Dinah, Rosita and Clementina. Round the corner poses. Sexual life is something they're selling. If you catch them broken, you can get them all for nothing. Don't make a wrong. The Yankee gonna Sparrow take over now.
All right. Well
All right,
done,
Jimmy. Yeah, man.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah. All they call and see if they can do better than KB there.
Yeah.
Right? KB from Takarigo.
Dabadi. What has happened to all you?
Dabadi.
Good Lord. Think us go out, you and Wendell had one time.
No, I just remember. Don't try that.
All right, go ahead. All right, so KB from Dabadi or by Dabadi? Right? Okay.
From Davidi.
Yeah. Right, we want one more person.
All right.
We want one more person.
Yep, Gina and Dinah, boy. It's sound good.
It'd be like you run everybody and they want to come back.
No,
all right, we have somebody coming in from the Southland.
I'll be Kazim again.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Miss Sampson, how you doing?
You win.
I was now leaving I was now leaving the house. I said, let me try a call.
All right, go ahead.
So I don't know how I will do this.
Well, go ahead.
Just do it.
Go ahead.
Okay, hold on.
You know, I don't vote for Shirley. I don't. Oh, you had to vote on this.
No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that, Wendell. This is not. This is not a PNM. This is not a PNM internal election. Okay.
While walking through times, I see fruit of our ambition, the grant of my imagination. And I ask myself, when will it end? When will it end? It is plain to see, universally is not as bountiful as it was, simply because in the quest of success, nothing stands in man's way. All rivers run dry, soon the birds will fly, the mountains will be no longer high. And when I really think of it, I just wonder why. Oh, why?
Hey, you win in my case.
Yeah.
La da da.
Sing it.
Gotta go.
Tune girl.
All right, Miss Sampson. Thank you very much.
That's a classic, you know. It's King of Sin, right?
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah. Progress, right? It's progress.
Yeah. The progress is high. All right. Make all your choice.
My choice made already. Sorry.
Yeah, love for Samson. One time. Before you give me anything.
I tell him Samson just had a call. She went in my book.
She went in your box. All right, okay. Richard, what do you think?
I felt
You're torn between two. What the people on the chat said?
They
See what
say
the people.
both are winners. Suzanne said they both are winners. Scorpion Pepper say put them both. Valerie Mendoza say both.
Yeah, because they were kind of equal in a kind of way in my mind.
50-50.
Yeah,
You
so
only hearing me singing along sometimes.
Yeah,
unfortunately, and yes, yeah, and it's kind of disturbing. It's a little disturbing, but you go along with it.
I thought I was keeping.
We know you can't. We know you can't not be the center of attention for a period of time, so we understand.
I had to center myself. I had to attend to myself, you know. Nobody else is attending to me.
So, but tell you, we understand. We understand the situation.
Yeah,
so me and Sir Charles, we'll just look up in the air and we'll go along with it.
Yeah, it's a condition that will take a little while to go away.
Yeah, we understand. You don't have to convince us.
All right, well, people, so the two names 50-50.
I will say for the 2 days. For the 2 days.
Two names going into the box today. You know what I mean?
I tell you, when the finals come in, Samson don't win, you know. No, I'm just joking, people. But I really like Miss Sampson's spirit. I really enjoy it. Even when she calls with some of the most ridiculous things, like the bat in the back door, like the noise.
Or the water.
Or the water.
Or the mayor office.
Or the noise. Or the mayor.
The mayor office. The mayor got to go. Anyhow, people, that is where we're going to leave it for the karaoke for today. If you didn't get through today, because now the line's getting busy after the fact. Right? There's only 2 persons we take in per day. But guess what? You have until the 12th of, which is the Thursday before, right? The Friday we do the draw on the 13th. So, yeah, you can get in between there. Bring. We're coming back after the news.
Hey, you. Yes, you. I'm talking to you. So you think I can sing, huh? Well, then be part of our Carnival Karaoke. You know what? I don't like that name. Let's call it Carnival Karaoke. Carnival Karaoke. We'll call it Karaoke. Yeah, so you can be part of our Carnival Karaoke on the Breakfast Show on New Era TT Radio. Yep, it's happening Monday to Friday at 7:50 a.m. starting Monday the 19th of January, and all you have to do is sing a verse and a chorus of your favorite calypso, soca, chutney, old or new. Just sing it good, and you could be our karaoke singer, our champion for 2026. We're taking 2 contestants every day, and we're choosing 1 winner whose name will go into the championship box. And on Carnival Friday, the 13th of February, we'll have a grand draw for the karaoke champion on the Breakfast Show. The first ever prizes. Well, don't worry about that. You'll get something. Just come and sing and be part of our Carnival Karaoke on the Breakfast Show and New Era TT Radio. Sing, the man, sing.
The news you need. The clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is News Now for Wednesday, the 21st of January on New Era TT Radio and Guy L Caribbean TV. I'm Derek McMillan. Thank you for joining us. The Office of the Attorney General has confirmed that the government has ended a long-running Privy Council appeal involving Proman Holdings and CL Financial, citing risks to the country's economic stability. The dispute stemmed from a controversial 2009 sale of a 51% stake in Plico Energy to Proman. The High Court and Court of Appeal ruled the transaction invalid and fraudulent, ordering the return of the shares and hundreds of millions of dollars in dividends. After taking office, the government sought legal advice and opted to settle with court approval rather than continue costly litigation. Officials say The agreement allows the state to recover significant funds while bringing closure to one of the major legal battles linked to the CL financial collapse. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar says government is open to banning social media use for children under 12, echoing concerns raised by Archbishop Charles Jason Gordon about online harm to young people. In WhatsApp comments on January 19th, Persad-Bissessar said while Gordon's concerns are valid, banning social media for adults would infringe on free speech. She added that legislation may be considered only for children, noting there is also a need to protect private citizens from online abuse and bullying. Public Administration and AI Minister Dominic Smith said the challenge is not eliminating technology, but governing it responsibly. He supports stronger safeguards for children, platform accountability, digital literacy, and ethical online behavior. Gordon has urged government to follow Australia's example, warning that social media is designed to be addictive and poses serious risks to children. The Oilfields Workers Trade Union has welcomed proposed amendments to the Retrenchment and Severance Benefits Act, describing them as long overdue reforms that strengthen worker protections. The OWTU said the changes expand the definition of redundancy to cover insolvency and receivership, protecting workers who lose jobs through company closures or collapse. The union also welcomed proposals to give workers priority payment of severance during insolvency proceedings. It further supported plans for a severance benefits fund, improved consultation requirements during retrenchment, clearer rules on temporary layoffs, and priority rehiring of retrenched workers. The union said the reforms modernize outdated provisions and represent a major step forward for workers in Trinidad and Tobago. The sister of a 69-year-old woman whose arm was crushed by a PTSC bus last week says she is recovering well and remains in good spirits. Hasina Mathura is hospitalized at the San Fernando General Hospital, where doctors have stabilized her injured arm with wires and screws. Her sister, Ashmun Lalchand, confirmed that the arm was not amputated and that doctors expect a full recovery, though Mathura remains in pain. Lalchand said the family has been contacted by the PTSC and thanked members of the public for their support. Police said Mathura fell while exiting the bus along the Naparima Mayaro Road in Palmyra, and the vehicle rolled over her arm. The incident is under investigation by Ste Madeline Police, while the PTSC has launched an internal review. A High Court judge has again called for legislative reform to hold police officers personally accountable for unlawful arrests, saying taxpayers should not bear the cost of police misconduct. Justice Frank Seepersad made the comments after ruling that a Special Reserve police officer acted maliciously in the 2019 arrest of Sangre Grande businessman Jawanza Simmons. The court found Simmons was wrongfully arrested, assaulted, detained for 12 hours, and prosecuted without lawful cause. The charges were later dismissed after the officer repeatedly failed to appear in court. Justice Seepersad described the conduct as arbitrary and outside the rule of law, warning against a culture of unlawful arrests. The state was ordered to pay Simmons $100,000 in damages, with the judge urging Parliament to ensure offending officers pay damages personally. Finally, in international news, from his first day back in office, President Donald Trump made clear he would not be constrained by convention. Invoking manifest destiny in his inauguration speech, he declared the United States would reclaim strategic territory, first naming the Panama Canal and now Greenland. No modern U.S. president has openly threatened to seize land from a long-standing ally, alarming NATO partners and raising fears of a breakdown in the post-war global order. Critics warn Trump's America First agenda prioritizes power over alliances, with some likening it to a return to imperial politics. Trump's supporters insist it is hard-nosed realism. But as Europe braces for trade conflict and security uncertainty, many fear the rules governing international relations are being rewritten by force of will rather than law.
And that is news at this time. That was news now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Your mid-morning just got better. Join Sir Charles for the mid-morning mix and mingle, where good music, real talk, health, and family matters come together, and your voice is heard. Whether you're at work, on the go, or just taking a break, this is the perfect mix to keep you engaged, informed, and entertained. The Mid-Morning Mix and Mingle, weekdays, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Jump into savings at Furniture Plus. Enjoy up to 40% off in-store and online. Find amazing deals on furniture, appliances, mattresses, and more. Plus extra discounts on credit plans and free gifts with select purchases. Save more at Furniture Plus today.
This carnival, the seas are calling.
Production Sounds and Ace Limers Entertainment presents Foreign Exchange.
Foreign Exchange. A carnival season boat ride like no other.
I wanna be somewhere where the music is.
Sunday, February 8th, 2026. Hearts Cut, Shakarama.
Step aboard the Ocean Pelican and experience where soca meets the open water.
Boarding 7 p.m. Sailing 8 p.m. Music by Production Sounds.
ZOSO.
Kevin Baker. Beats by Robin. Young Pro and Bounty the Voice. DJ Eldon. And featuring International Steven. All the way from the U.S.
Tier 1 tickets, $250. Tier 2 tickets, $300. Cooler included. No glass bottles allowed. Get your tickets now at islandetickets.com or call 29218-4747.
Sunday, February 8th, 2026. Hearts Cut, Shakaramas. Foreign Exchange.
With your bad energy.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Hey, you. Yes, you. I'm talking to you. So you think I can sing, huh? Well, then be part of our Carnival Karaoke. You know what? I don't like that name. Let's call it Carnival Karaoke. Carnival Karaoke. We'll call it Karaoke. Yeah, so you can be part of our Carnival Karaoke on the Breakfast Show on New Era TT Radio. Yep, it's happening Monday to Friday at 7:50 a.m. starting Monday the 19th of January, and all you have to do is sing a verse and a chorus of your favorite calypso, soca, chutney, old or new. Just sing it good, and you could be our karaoke singer, our champion for 2026. We're taking 2 contestants every day, and we're choosing one winner whose name will go into the championship box. And on Carnival Friday, the 13th of February, we'll have a grand draw for the karaoke champion on the Breakfast Show. The first ever prizes. Well, don't worry about that. You'll get something. Just come and sing and be part of our Carnival Karaoke on the Breakfast Show and New Era TT Radio. Sing, the man, sing.
Sing, the man, sing. Yes, what is that? Just to let the people who are inquiring on the WhatsApp, yes, even if you're out of Trinidad and Tobago, you can take part in the karaoke, all right? It's not a Trinidad and Tobago thing, right? So if you're anywhere else in the world and you want to sing a calypso or chutney or soca, guess what? You can sing it, all right? We look forward to having you on the platform.
Of course. West Indies play Afghanistan this morning again. Oh, God, I had to miss that. But not after that. Anyway, I'll probably miss it anyway, because not after that performance the other day. Oh, Darren Sammy is still the coach. I don't even know. You understand? You know?
Long-standing debate.
Mm-hmm.
When people like you up there, somebody like you. Somebody like you, somebody want you there.
All right, morning, Paul Richards. We were having a very interesting conversation a little while ago. Oh!
Dean have sent me a pretty decent piece of read something here. I'll take some time a little later on and
I
go
just shared something in the chat too.
how many police cases over the years have collapsed because of non-appearance and other things like that. It's quite a bit.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. Wow. Yeah, and I see you were sharing the thing about the Prime Minister's rant.
The independent senators, yes.
Yeah.
You know, it's
But
morning, Michael Robinson, and welcome to Trinidad and Tobago. My man is from Japan. He is in Trinidad and Tobago. Of course, he's a renowned panist. So he's here for Pan. He actually say he leaving Carnival Monday. I said, man, who does travel out of here Carnival? He said, boy, I said, come for Pan. So we'll meet up with him. We'll meet up with him hopefully very soon. You know what I mean? So welcome to Trinidad and Tobago and your guest from Japan. I think you also have a guest from Japan here also to come in to play Pan. All right?
Yeah, but going back to what you saw there, it can't be nothing less than an attack on the independent senators.
But it's consistent.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that if you go down that road of calling them their names and different kinds of stuff, because you have a bill that you want to get through that is not finding favor with the population. What about other bills that you would bring that may find favor that you would need them? Would you think of them the same way also at that point in time?
Well, it's the bills that clearly require the vote of the independent senators for it to carry. It's clearly the pattern is now only when those bills come up that an attack is made on them.
Yeah.
You understand?
But there are some bills that you would need their support that they would probably be in favor of.
But they have done that. They have,
you know. So how do you see them at that point in time then? That's basically the answer. If you see them because this is a bill that have a lot of questions and you are not willing to even amend some of those things to make the bill a little more palatable to the population. When you do bring other legislation coming forward, how are you going to be looking at these very same people? What are you going to say about them there? They're good now? And they're bad then? That's selective what? Selective anyhow, anything.
Yeah, it's just...
Well, I don't think that they think that far ahead, you know. Because you see leadership as transactional. When you see leadership as transactional, which is how Trump sees it, your words and what you say and how you project whatever your argument is for a particular law is based on the transaction before you. And so you will morph to whatever is required when you see leadership as transactional in that kind of way. So you will feel, because remember well, if you're talking about the current prime minister, she's really talking to her base. And I think Larry was spot on that she is kind of prepping her base in kind of, well, the base who support the bill, because I assume there's some people in the base that will not support the bill, but for the possibility of failure. So she's setting it up that, in other words, if it fails, this is why it failed, because they were vapid and shallow and they're PNM operatives. Mm-hmm. Now, it may not be true. It doesn't even matter whether she believes it's true or not. It's a matter that you have articulated it in a kind of a narrative that you can depend on, that does not blame you for crafting bad law.
Yeah, but what is interesting about is, even if that is the case, if you recognize that that people are saying it is bad law, and you are so adamant at bringing it because you believe it is something that you can use or have to use, or maybe your only resource at this point in time. Well, go back and fix it. Yeah, if you're not making any attempt to even fix it, that speaks plenty.
No, because you're not seeing it in the light of our collaborative democracy. You're seeing it in the light of, I have the authority to bring this law and I'm going to bring it. And if it is that you do not go along with my opinion, I will say that you are part of the problem. Does that sound like a playbook?
Mm-hmm.
You are the problem. The law is not the problem. You are the problem. And so that's not what you're talking about there, Sir Charles, is collaborative democracy. There's consensual, there is deliberation, there's giving back and forth. It's bipartisan. A law like this that's so anything that deals with the Constitution should be bipartisan. Even if you have the constitutional majority, you should still be trying to get the opposition and say, look, let's work together to make this a good law. Do you think it's a good law? Because it came from their drafting corridor, so to speak. They started it. They drafted that bill at one point, because we can have no original thought here. We just have to copy and copy, and sometimes you copy some of the worst laws. If the PNM had brought this law, I would have been equally opposed to it in its current format. And well, I would be opposed to it by default, because as I said, you know my position. I don't believe states of emergency are crime-fighting tools. Crime-fighting tool is the police, and how do you make them better? That's how I see it. But I did give leeway, because that's my opinion. I live in a democracy. My opinion is not always going to be the consensus.
Right.
So my give was, if you are going down that road, have an oversight committee. The prime minister shouldn't have that power. Let the committee decide. And if the committee says no, that's the first obstacle that a prime minister would then face. And if they wanted to get the actual zone passed, they had to go to parliament and get 2/3 of parliament to agree. That is oversight. That's how you contain authoritarianism and power and absolute power. And in a democracy, you always have to look at legislation with that kind of eye. So it's not because your party says, this is the law I want to do, and because this is the situation now, and of course, crime can be used as an alarmist justification to try and bring draconian legislation as soon as you can. And you will tend, depending on how bad crime is, people kind of stop their critical thinking and go along with it. But you still have to always critically think, what is this going to do? How is this going to work? What kind of power it gives the position, not the person in the position, the position.
Yeah.
And those are the kind of conversations you have to have in a democracy, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see if we can get a couple calls inside before we go now. As we
just one question, Sir Charles or Richard, you all can answer. Colted Finch is asking, can we, as the public, participate in the good news segment? Can we send you all good news segments? And how would they go about doing it? Can you advise?
Unlike the country, which is a democracy, this show is not. So, no, I'm joking.
But we use good news from other people sometimes.
Yeah, they send it sometimes. Well, they could send it to Sir Charles and he could work on it. Leave me out of that.
Okay. Sir Charles, how can they send it?
I'm trying to extricate myself from doing all of the good news. And
I know.
And did you know? So Sir Charles will eventually have to take it over.
Sir Charles?
Everything else that's happening. Yeah.
How can they send it? I mean, you'll probably be bombarded, so you'll just know that.
No, people send sometimes, and we use them. We have used what people have sent.
Yeah, we've used some with what other people sent.
Yeah, well, send it to 2811315.
281-1315.
Send it to that number and
281-1315.
target and target us good news or
What it's for, yeah. Put a caption, good news
because
segment.
people are sending all kinds of stuff there too that take up space sometimes. Had to constantly be deleted stuff. So yeah, caller, good morning to you.
Good morning to Charles, Wendell, Richard.
Morning, caller.
Good morning. I'm following the debate in Parliament, and I noticed that the two of the independent senators, whom I would have had confidence when they make their contribution, who know the law, who would have articulated the law in their contribution, so that people would be fully aware of the pros and cons of this zone of special operations. But Senator Vieira and Senator Choate is not there, and they have been replaced by two other senators who I feel may not be able to articulate the situation as it needed to be. Also, I noticed that the government is seen in the background having conversations with the independent senators. I noticed that a lot here last night while I was watching the debate, and I think that should not happen while the actual debate is going on. I don't know how you all think about that, because it appears as if you are still trying to solicit the views of the independent senators to suit you, the government. Also, I noticed the Attorney General said in his contribution before that this bill could be passed with a simple majority and not necessarily 3/5 or 2/3. Richard, could you clarify for me? Yeah.
It would have to be watered down more because it is not once you infringe on people's right of movement, because you remember the bill includes the possibility of a curfew for 24 hours and not longer than 72 hours, right? Mm-hmm. In terms of one of its measures. That measure would have to go because freedom of movement is a constitutional right that cannot be crossed or abridged by a simple majority. So I don't know what the AG is talking about unless you're removing those kinds of provisions. But the bill as is cannot be passed by a simple majority because it is certain constitutional provisions, and that freedom of movement is one that is very clear. So unless you're removing some of the more some of the provisions that actually are very evident that go against sections 4 and 5 of the Constitution, you would need that special majority, which is why they're going for a special majority. So they could say, well, we could go for a simple majority, but if you could have gone for a simple majority, why didn't you go for it? Mm-hmm. Why are you harassing yourself talking to independent senators?
Yes.
Caller, good morning.
I suppose you're morning again. You know, that last call I was in my head because exactly what you said. I missed those two independent senators, Choate and Mr. Vera, to give their contribution. But because when I saw two new persons were sworn in, and I wondered who they were for, and then I realized it was those two. So we haven't heard them yet, so we await their response. But the Attorney General putting fear into the independent senator's head again by saying he could have done it with a simple majority. Hear this now. He doesn't, as Attorney General and a senior counsel for so much years. How could he say such a thing to fool people like me, not to fool people like me, but people who don't have a law degree and don't understand the law? If you interfere with the Constitution, it's obvious you'll need a 3/5 majority. So wait, he feels only now people listening to Parliament or reading about things what he's supposed to have. He's trying to just show wool of our eyes and to kind of, but he can't threaten the independent senators. But he figured that I could go with a simple majority, you know. So I didn't do it in the first place.
Exactly. If you could have gone with a simple majority, what are you going through all this headache to get 3/5 and to get 3 independent senators to vote with you for?
Exactly.
And
call them names on top of that. You know, and say, and you know something.
no. I don't know how independent senators are rationalizing the mere idea that the government is so aggressive in terms of the language being used to paint you in a particular way to get legislation passed. And that legislation is actually giving a certain amount of power to an office holder. And that doesn't concern you. Well, I don't know what concern. Well, then I don't know what concerns you if that doesn't concern you, because the behavior in trying to get the law passed is concern. It should be concerning, especially with regard to the amount of power that the law is going to give to the office holder.
Yeah, and former independent state senator, Ms. Thompson, she was in the news last night, and she said that they do the little talk behind the table, you know, coming to say, well, look, so help us with this.
Yeah,
she
lobbying.
said that is something they're accustomed doing.
Yeah,
so
lobbying.
why not this aggressiveness and this venom and this, I don't know what kind of language again she could come up with, except the curse words, you know? So why should she do all that? So there's like something in the mortar beside the pestle. Like this prime minister wants to run this country from within some kind of thing unlawfully. I guess it's the word unlawfully or unconstitutionally, because the police, they have a police service, you know, or do we? Don't we have a police service? Because the police must do their work. They have to work. They want everything like what? They want everything just to go and walk in and arrest people, push them somewhere and tell them how much ever months after. Where's this poor lady, Miss Olive Green? She's still behind bars for something she said. I mean, what we coming to now?
Yeah.
Anyway, you all have
Thanks very much.
I want to sing tomorrow.
Yeah, okay,
If I
good.
get to.
Yeah, rehearse your song. All right. Well, guys, that's where we're going to leave it for today. We say thanks to the people at Gael who are probably just leaving us or left us already. But thank you so much. All right. So
you and Wendell don't have Gael on at the time that the show is going on to see?
Wendell, nobody has. I don't have it. My TV kind of far from where I'm at. If somebody want to donate a TV to me so I could put it close here. Okay. I get your point, Richard. Okay, no problem. I get your point.
I always on somebody's monitoring, so you know, okay, there are problems. If you're not seeing it on Gael, so you could shoot a message to, you know.
Yeah,
the
I'll probably link it up via my computer or something so I can monitor it like how I monitor YouTube and stuff. Yeah.
So I can monitor it. Yeah. Well, Wendell obviously is busy. But anyway, have a fantastic day, people. Remember,
that was a very important phone call. My apologies.
No problem. No problem.
Who you was talking to?
A very important phone call.
I know who.
Not them people don't talk to me again, so it's not them.
You minding your business now.
Yeah. No, I'm telling him my business. He doesn't know all my business, you know.
You have a play coming up, you know. Play season going on open just now, you know. Carnival almost done.
Anyway, people, have a fantastic day, whatever you do. And remember to smile and laugh no matter what. It's great for your health, no matter what is going on the planet. Have you know, positivity within you as a human being that, you know, things will be better. And, you know, there's so much chaos going on in the world right now. But, and here too. But you know what? Remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health. You have to keep it balanced. Mm-hmm. And of course, New Era TG Radio continues on the stream on neweratgradio.com and New Era TG Radio on TuneIn. Excellent programming throughout the day. Do not miss it. And we'll speak to you bright and early tomorrow morning.
All right, folks, have an absolutely wonderful day. Remember to let go and let go.
All right, so you have been listening this morning, and we know you have a choice in what you listen to, and we're glad that you chose us. You have impeccable taste, as I always say. And this is where we sign off on The Breakfast Show. Have a great one, people.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The breakfast show got the vibes turned on. From Morocco